Now, 12 days ago I told you I'd show you how to make money or save money. I want to show you one of the easiest ways to save money and or make money in the garden. A lot of times you find sweet basil in a 4-inch pot for $5, $5.50, something like that. We got these on a sales table and there were 3 in each one of these. If you remember my rule of thumb, we don't want to go over $1 a plant. Of course, I have that illness where I have to go see if there's something I can't live without. But when I saw these on a rack for $2.50 and I got 3 of them, but what they don't know is I'm going to turn those 3 into a whole lot more, and I'm going to show you how. 12 days ago we clipped them off. This is exactly what you do in the garden when you're going to prune them. If you see here, you've got the leaf coming out and you got 2 small leaves. Same thing on the other side, and the stem comes up and it makes another split, and you got 2 small leaves and 2 big leaves, and that does that all the way up. If you cut it right there, clip that off, and we'll set this in water, and you put that in a little glass of water and it will root almost as fast as a sweet potato. Now they've rooted. And this is how I turn what looks like 3 plants into a bunch. Now, I preset a little soil in the bottom of these containers, and this is just really simple. And just look at the roots on that. What we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead, take our thumbs, and start splitting that in half. And one of these will come with it. Now this container is a little deeper. This container is a little bigger than what they came out of. Just hold it in place with my thumb. And add soil back in around it. And you just snug that in all the way around. And yes, you're going to get a little dirt on the floor. Kind of like having this new greenhouse set up, so I don't have to worry about that. Just fill that right back up to the level that it was. And you can see right here where we pruned it, it's already bushing back out. Now the other thing you could do is you can take part of those bottom roots off and just pinch those off, but we have 2 here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my thumbs right between those 2 and split it as close to in half as you can. Kind of feel the roots as you're doing it, and then you'll have 2 pieces. Then it can go back into a container the same size. Got a little soil in the bottom. Just kind of hold it in place. Add soil all the way around. Snug that back in. If I was going to do something other than put it in the garden shortly, I'd worry about the depth here. But this is going to go in the garden just as soon as this takes root. So I like recycling all of these containers. I've used these quite a bit. And the beauty about basil is the whole thing will root. So if you get a little too much soil in here, not to worry. You do want to snug that down so there are no air pockets. See how nicely that's bushing out where we've already cut it? And there you go. Turn what looked like 1 plant into 3 plants. Wait, we've got more. And we take our cups, which we've cut a little notch. You want that for drainage. A little bit of our composted soil. Let's take a look at these that rooted over the last 12 days. Well, I guess all 3 of these want to be planted. Just look how beautiful those roots are. I'm just going to preset these. Kind of hold it in the center, lightly. Some soil in around it. Start snugging that down in there. And add some more soil. I'm going to add it up to just about the first leaves that are on here. You just continue to snug that in. There's one. Now I've got this about 3/4 full of soil. Just lightly center it up. Backfill. Snug it in a little bit. I don't have to push real hard. And this compost is not going to ball up like clay. It'll fall right apart. It's pretty spongy, but it's full of life. It's full of nutrients. And right there, we've turned what looked like one plant into 6. You can do this too. And that's how you turn what appears to be 3 plants into 16. Just that quick. And as these grow, we can do that again and again and again. Let me get a little water on these, and then we'll look at some sweet potatoes. Got some happy little basil. Okay, now we got a serious problem. I got way too many sweet potato slips. But I do like sweet potatoes. And this is our purple variety. And they don't grow quite as big as the Beauregards, those big orange ones. And we got quite a few of those slips. So let's go ahead and get these in containers, get the roots going good. We don't plant these in the garden until Memorial Day. Now since we only want to get these established, I like these solo cups, the medium-sized ones, and you do want to have a water hole. I just take a scissors and just clip the corner of it. 2 reasons I've chosen these medium-sized cups. 1, they're really cheap. And 2, all we want to get these roots going a little bit more. The potatoes are made from the roots on the slips, not by anything else. Now this whole thing will root, so it doesn't matter how deep we plant these. So I got just a little bit of soil in the bottom of each one of these. Here's the thing. Look at that. These have only been in the water a very short time. They don't take very long to root at all. You just get that down in there. I got quite a few of these to put in containers. And it's just this simple. That one only has 1 root on it. But that's all it takes. It doesn't even take that. You can plant these without roots. I've demonstrated that before. So you just put them in the containers and then we'll backfill with soil. So I set that down in there. Like I said, it doesn't matter how deep you plant this, the entire stem will root. As long as the roots that you just put in are covered up, they don't air dry, you're going to be good to go. Potting up a slip is just that fast. Now here's something I've learned, that sometimes these get a little shocky and all the leaves will fall off. Don't panic. They'll come back with a vengeance. And if you got a yellowed leaf like that, just go ahead and pinch it off. There's no reason it should be struggling with that as it's trying to make new roots. When this fills up with roots and we plant it in the garden, our chances of bigger potatoes are a lot greater. It really is just this easy. As soon as we get the rest of these potted up, we'll give them a nice drink and we'll set them over with the rest of the sweet potatoes. So I thought we'd go ahead and do a couple of these in this clear container, and that way we can see the roots progress. And this is just how easy it is. And these are sweet potatoes and the entire vine will root. I know I keep saying that, and if you remember that, it makes transplanting seem so much easier. Get a little water on these. And as these roots fill out in this clear container, we ought to see the progress of how they grow. Taking cuttings off of basil and repotting them That's one good way of saving a little money, but the best bang for your buck and the food you can bring into your house is sweet potato slips. The slips themselves cost me absolutely nothing. And the pie you can make with purple sweet potatoes is absolutely amazing. We'll hit these with a little water again. We ought to be good to go. You can do this too. It's really this simple. Get these tomatoes watered. We may do a little container gardening. I want you to take a look at these tomatoes right here. Now if you look at these leaves right here, they're oval and a single piece. That's an heirloom variety. These are both going to ripen green. That ought to be interesting, Jim. Thank you. Now the sweet potatoes we just put in containers, and these sweet potatoes, I ought to be able to grow enough to eat all winter long. If I can find some place to put them. I don't typically plant my sweet potatoes in northeastern Oklahoma until Memorial Day weekend. So that gives us time for the roots to get established on the ones we just potted up. I just got to keep these watered for a little while. And when I plant these, I hope you join me for that. And the basil that we split apart and put in these bags, they're nice, happy little basil plants. Now you could do me a favor. If you got anything out of any one of these episodes, please hit the subscribe button. There's an awful lot of folks out there watching that don't hit the subscribe button. And that helps the channel grow. And it's growing as fast as the garden is right now. I do appreciate you coming by it, looking at how we can double our money with basil, and getting a few sweet potato slips in the containers. If you want to learn more about sweet potatoes, click that link right there and I'll meet you back here in the garden. If you want to learn about the deep mulch, click that link right there and I'll meet you right back in the garden. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.